Everybody check it out. So, we talk a lot about the lack of evidence in the RussiaGate conspiracy that people are pushing, and that's taking us all the oxygen out of the room so no one talks about stuff we're supposed to be talking about. Like the corruption inside the Democratic primary in 2016 and how we fix it. No one ever talked about that. But here, do you remember how they talk about it? Remember, here's Thomas Friedman from the New York Times.
The first is we have never taken seriously from the very beginning. Russia hacked our election. That was a 9/11 scale event. They attacked the core of our very democracy. That was a Pearl Harbor scale event.
9/11 and Pearl Harbor, what they did. What the Russians did was equivalent to Pearl Harbor and 9/11. Wow, isn't that something? Here's Congressman Jerry Nadler from New York.
My reaction to the news is that this is absolute proof of what we knew all along and what the president has denied, namely that we were attacked. This was a very serious attack against the United States by a hostile foreign power, an attack against our election process, our entire governing process. We know that the attack is continuing, and that our intelligence agencies tell us that it's going to certainly continue through the next election. And the president and the Republicans in the House, for that matter, refuse to do anything about protecting us from an attack. Imagine if FDR had denied that the Japanese attacked us at Pearl Harbor and didn't react. That's the equivalent.
Well, it's a bit of a different thing. I mean,
no, it's not.
They didn't kill him.
No, it's not. It's exactly like Pearl Harbor.
And, I know this is weird for us to do, but we should mention, just to be fair, since we use them, that you can find both of these clips on MSNBC's holiday album, available now wherever you get your music.
Wherever you get your holiday RussiaGate music.
Give your loved one propaganda.
So there's two of the worst propagandists in the world. Even Chris Hayes wouldn't go along with it, but it's not the same. Yo, yes, it is. All right, no one died. So here is that very guy. Now he has the CEO of Google sitting in front of him. CEO of Google sitting in front of him. And he wants to know some info about what they know about the Russians advertising during the election. Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay, thank you. Now, according to media reports, Google found evidence that Russian agents spent thousands of dollars to purchase ads on its advertising platforms that span multiple Google products as part of the Russian agents' campaign to interfere in the election 2 years ago.
They spent thousands of dollars across various platforms that Google is involved with. Google's platforms. Thousands. Cost bill. So now here comes the big question.
Additionally, Juniper Downs, head of global policy for YouTube, testified in July that YouTube had identified and shut down multiple channels containing thousands of videos associated with the Russian misinformation campaign. Does Google now know the full extent to which its online platforms were exploited by Russian actors in the election 2 years ago?
Big question. Does Google now know to what extent the Russians infiltrated and were doing their nefarious advertising?
This is going to be a big answer. I mean, this has been going on for 2 years. This is going to be a big, long answer. I'm stoked.
Here we go.
We have, we undertook a very thorough investigation. And in 2016, we now know that there were two main ad accounts linked to Russia, which advertised on Google for about $4,700 in advertising.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did he just say $4,700?
I think so.
The CEO of Google is here. We're having a hearing over $4,700 worth of ads bought?
Mm-hmm. Or as he would put it, his hourly wage, probably.
Yeah.
That's
$4,700? So what they're saying, well, let me double check this.
Found other limited...
Total of $4,700?
That's right. Which was...
Boy, if there was ever the need for wah, wah. Boy, so what they're saying is Hillary's own supporters are saying she was such a shitty candidate that all it took was $4,700 to beat her.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
$4,700, and that's all it took to beat her and her billion, $2 billion. How many? Wasn't? What did they spend $2 billion? That's hilarious. Is it not hilarious? That's hilarious.
No amount is okay here, but
No amount is okay, but that is laughably small.
Well, I like the way he said that's right. Like, he said that's right as he was like, that's right. Like, I feel like my time is being wasted, too.
Yes.
I also don't want to be here.
That's right. We did an extensive investigation. We found out $4,700. Are you happy? $4,700. Wow. So wait, how much did they spend on the midterms? Limited activity means $4,700 or less, right?
Yep.
$4,700. Wow. All it took for Putin to hijack our democracy was about the same amount of money you'd pay for a used Taurus. I don't know. I could either hijack the American democracy, or I could buy this nice used Taurus with 100,000 miles on it. That's all it took? $4,700? Wow. Apparently Russian agents don't get a very high expense account.
That's right. We had to rely on many unpaid interns.
Yeah, I bet.
We have a lot of unpaid
And they
interns.
didn't even. I bet they didn't had to buy their own lunch. Wow. Wow, that's amazing. I can play it for you again if you'd like. Actually, I would like to. Here's the shortened version for you.
Does Google now know the full extent to which its online platforms were exploited by Russian actors in the election 2 years ago?
we have, we undertook a very thorough investigation, and in 2016, we now know that there were two main ad accounts linked to Russia, which advertised on Google for about $4,700 in advertising. We also found other limited...
Total of $4,700?
That's right. Which was, no amount is okay here, but, we found limited activity, improper activity. We have learned a lot from that, and we've, dramatically increased the protections we have around our election offerings. Leading up to the current elections, we again found limited activity, both from the Internet Research Agency in Russia, as well as accounts linked to Iran.
Limited activity. We found limited activity. $4,700 or less. Limited activity. So that's the extent. Now, do you now know the extent, the full extent to where Russia infiltrated your Google advertising? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, $4,700.
I like when he was saying, we've learned a lot from this, and we've learned, and we're moving forward. Have you ever been in like a group project in school, and like whatever you were doing technically failed? So then you take the route, like, we learned a lot through this process. It turns out nobody wanted to buy our shitty calendar, so we didn't make any money in this entrepreneurship class, but we learned a lot.
Learned a lot,
It was a good process.
And that's what it's all about, growing and learning. Here's some of that's one of the things they say swung the election. That's literally one of them. That's a sponsored ad. That's literally one of them. What does it say? It says
Color your own Bernie hero.
Color your own Bernie. This new coloring book called Buff Bernie, a coloring book for Berniacs, is full of attractive doodles of Bernie Sanders and muscle poses. The author of the book said that she wanted people to stop taking this whole thing too serious. The coloring is something that suits for all people, and then there it is. That's part of it. This isn't me saying this. This is them. The FBI said this is one of them. Want to see another one? This is another one that's actually sponsored. It says, Border Patrol agents in South Texas arrested an illegal alien from Honduras that had previously been... So this is just exactly what we said it was. These are troll farms from Russia. They put out this propaganda that again, half of it was for Trump, half of it could be against. Some of it's neither. Some of it's
just they're spamming for information.
And that's what this is.
I want to see who's going to click that.
So this is to try to get people to follow them so then they can spam them. That's all this is. And I know this is blowing people's minds because people only read the headlines when it comes to the RussiaGate investigation. But if you read through the whole articles of RussiaGate articles, at the end they all say there's no evidence for any of this.
And I know you really want to dislike Trump, and I get it. I dislike Trump too.
Me too.
Newsflash, there's a billion other reasons to dislike Trump. You don't need to fish for those.
I know it's going to sound like a crazy assertion now because the propaganda has just been ingested and it's taken as fact now. Russia hacked our election. It's just taken as fact. Not a shred of evidence. Not a shred of evidence to show that. Oh, and well, why would they do that, Jimmy? Why would they make that up? I don't know. Maybe because then no one talks about the biggest election fraud in the history of our country that took place in the Democratic primary. Biggest election fraud in the history of our country. How about the Democratic Party raising all that money, saying it's going down ballot campaigns for Congress and Senate? It was really going to Hillary Clinton's campaign. So that's fraud.
How about the fact that we have a system that's so broken that enough people in this country can buy the idea that some plutocratic billionaire is somehow going to be an outsider and break this broken system that helped him?
That's how desperate people are, that they actually think a billionaire plutocrat is going to be their friend.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's how broken, because they tried a black guy with a Muslim name for 8 years, and all he gave him was everything the right wing would have given them anyway. And that's why we have Trump. People are desperate. The biggest voting bloc in America, you know what it is. People who don't vote. And the Democrats ain't got no ideas on how to get those people to come out and vote. They're not going to offer them health care. They're not going to offer them a living wage. They're not going to offer to end the friggin' wars and invest that money back at home in a Green New Deal. They're not going to break up the banks and re-regulate. Well, they're not going to do any of that stuff. Democrats, all they're going to say is, we're not as bad as those guys. But this is sweet. It's sweet to watch a guy like, it's something when the facts of RussiaGate actually get thrown in the face of a guy who's pushing propaganda about RussiaGate. That's fun to watch. Our next live Jimmy Dore show is February 1st in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a list of all our live shows, and please become a premium member if you can. Become a patron. It's the way we support this show because they're coming at us, and we give you bonus. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Check it out. Become a patron. And if you can, make sure you're still subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I know it sounds crazy. It only takes a second. Please make sure and click that bell when you subscribe so they'll send you a notice